Hi, my name is Mark STUTZEL, and I serve as pastor of Christ Lutheran Church in Wolcott Lake, New Jersey. And I'm here as your friendly neighborhood Lutheran pastor to introduce the software Zoom that the New Jersey Synod will be using at our annual Synod Assembly meeting in just a few weeks. Now, if you've never used Zoom before, I'm here to demystify it for you and encourage you to practice and play around with it before our Synod Assembly starting on May 7th. This is a software that I have used in my own congregation for committee meetings, for our annual meeting, for special congregational meetings, and I've seen people from the ages of 6-year-olds to 97-year-olds mastering the software, using it to communicate with each other in a safe way during this ongoing pandemic. There is nothing about Zoom that is scary, but you just might be unfamiliar with it. And that's why I'm here, just to show you a few of the things that will be important for you as we get ready for this amazing Synod Assembly. Now, before we actually get into the Zoom software itself, there's a few things that you should make sure you have set up before the Synod Assembly begins. And so right now, I am actually in my Gmail inbox, looking at an email that was sent by the bishop to Lutheran pastors and Lutheran deacons throughout the Synod to help give us some more information about what to expect at the Synod Assembly. And the one thing that I want you to remember and want you to do right now is that if it's before May 1st and you haven't registered yet, and you're planning to attend the New Jersey Synod Assembly virtually, register right now. Go to the website at njsynod.org and register. Also, make sure that the email address assembly@njsynod.org is in your safe sender list. What that means is making sure that any email sent to you from that email address won't show up in spam or accidentally be automatically deleted by your email provider. This is a lot of information will be given to you through that email address, and you got to make sure that you are receiving it. You will also receive from that email address links on how to log in to the Synod Assembly. So you'll click on that email, and then that will let you participate in the Synod Assembly. If, however, you're watching this just because you're interested in Zoom, you're interested in the Synod Assembly, but you won't be attending as a voting member, there is going to be a live link on YouTube, on the New Jersey Synod YouTube channel, so that you can watch the entire New Jersey Synod Assembly either live while it's happening or later on at whatever is your convenience. So since you've made sure that you are now receiving all the emails you need from the New Jersey Synod Assembly, it is time to get the software of Zoom itself. Now, if you don't have it, there's a couple of ways to get it. If you are using a laptop or a desktop, you are going to want to open up your web browser and go to this URL, zoom.us/download. Then you'll get this screen that says Download Center. You'll see Zoom Client for Meetings and a big blue button that says Download. You're going to want to click on that download, and the website should automatically give you the correct version of the software that you need. So if I click download here, it would give me the software that works for a Mac laptop. Now, if you are using your phone or you are using your tablet, you are going to want to go to the App Store for your device and then search for the Zoom icon. Now, the Zoom icon looks like a little TV, an old-fashioned video camera, and it's typically in blue. You're going to want to find that Zoom software, zoom.us. Download that client. And that way, when you click on a link in the email, it'll open that app and then launch the meeting. So now that we have done that, let's pretend that we have clicked on a link and it's launched a meeting for us to join in. Now you're going to receive an email from the Synod office with a link to the Zoom meeting itself that contains the Synod Assembly. Now on my screen right now, you'll see at the URL is this long email address full of numbers, full of passwords and letters and all sorts of things in it. The link you possibly will get will look like that. And so when you click on it, it's going to open, and you're on your laptop, it's going to open up a URL window and get this screen that says to either click open zoom.us on the dialog shown by your browser, or you can click on this blue button that says launch meeting, or maybe your computer automatically itself will launch the software program and bring you into Zoom. If you're using your iPhone, if you're using your tablet, you'll click on a similar link, and what it will do, it'll automatically open the app and launch you into the meeting. So if you see this screen after clicking on the link that is sent to you, that's great. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You click on that link, and that's then going to launch the meeting and get you into it. Now, if you clicked on the link and you start noticing that the software is loading, you're seeing a black screen and a screen that will show in just a minute, but then you get this screen right here where it's asking you to choose an audio conference option for you to participate in the meeting. This is an awesome step. It means you're doing the right thing, but you have to complete this step or you're not going to hear anything that happens during the meeting. So Zoom gives you a couple of features. The one that you'll most likely use is this one, join with computer audio, or it might say something with the device audio. You're going to click on that. And what that's going to enable you to do is then use the speakers and the mic on the system to then participate in the meeting. However, if you find yourself having to chase your 2-year-old while she or he runs around outside, which I know from personal experience, you might not be able to sit in front of the screen and participate in a visual way the entire time, but you might be willing to get your phone out, carry it with you, and listen to it on speaker or listen to it wherever you are. That then gives you the option to click on phone call. Gives you a bunch of numbers that you can call in. Then you will enter a meeting. Then it'll prompt you to enter your meeting ID, then your participant ID, and that's important. You'll mention this code in, and then whatever passcode the meeting has. And then you could visually be involved in the meeting when you're able to sit in front of your computer or your tablet, or you can be audio involved as well if you have to run out and to make sure your kids aren't fighting with each other too much. So those are fun features that Zoom allows you to do. So what you're going to do though, however, is you're going to hit join with computer audio, and that will get you to the next step. All right, you've made it. You are now in Zoom. And because this is just an example, I'm in a meeting of 1. But since you are participating and viewing it with me, we know wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, when they're doing the business of being the church, Jesus is there too. So we are really a meeting of 1 and 2 and of 3 with Jesus, and we can throw in the Holy Spirit for 4 as well. So we are in our own meeting together, and I want to walk through some of the software tools that Zoom has. These are things that will look different depending on what type of advice you're looking for, but the icons and what these things do will be the same. So you might have to dig around or scroll around a little bit or use your finger or whatnot to find certain things, and that's perfectly okay. Feel free to experiment and practice before the Synod Assembly. So here I am, you're seeing my face, you're seeing me talk. I'm right in the main screen. I'm all over the place on this one. But you'll notice that all the little controls have vanished. When you're not using your mouse or using your mouse over the screen, the controls will vanish. So to get those active again, just start moving your mouse or putting your finger over the screen and getting it to move again. So you'll notice that a bunch of things have just popped up, and I have those located on the bottom of my screen. We have this thing over here that's lighting up green, and it is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it looks like a microphone. This is going to be the tool that you are going to use the most, and it's going to be your best friend. This mutes and unmutes your audio. So how Zoom will work in workshops or small groups or different settings is that whoever is talking, they will be the focus of the screen, which makes sense. Zoom imagines that they are presenting and providing information to the wider gathering, and so that the audio and video should be focused on them. However, I know me personally, or sometimes, I'll be with someone else and we will be talking about something else that has nothing to do with the meeting. My family will come in, my child will come in, looking for something, looking for help. That all of a sudden I start having a conversation with them and I am not muted. Everyone else is going to be able to hear that conversation and the attention of the whole meeting is going to come on me. So what you're going to want to work doing is getting really familiar with the mute and unmute button. So as you can see right now, it's green and it's going up and down. That means I am not muted. It means everyone in the meeting could hear everything that I am saying. So what you would want to do to make sure that no one can hear that anything that's going around in my room or where I am, you are just going to click that. And as you saw, it went away. All of a sudden we have this microphone with a red line through it and it says unmute. So the mute before had said, hey, if you click on this, it'll mute. And now if we click on it, it'll unmute. You'll also notice that on my name right here, where it says my name, Mark STUTZEL, it also highlights, it has a little red microphone with a line through it. It lets everyone else know that I'm muted. So that way people know that if a sound is coming, it's not coming from me. Or if I try to speak and no one can hear in me what I'm saying, but they can see my mouth moving, that tells them to remind me that I'm muted so that I unmute myself so that I can share whatever it is that I want to bring to the wider meeting. So mute and unmute. This is going to be one of your best friends during the meeting. Now that's usually not the first thing you're going to worry about in a meeting. And as you can tell right now, every time I try to speak while I am unmuted, my software tells me, hey, if you're trying to talk to the rest of the meeting, unmute yourself. So we'll do that right there. Another thing right next to it looks like a little video camera. It looks like the image of the Zoom app itself. That is going to turn on your web camera or turn it off. So you can see me right now, it's great. But what if something happened and I needed to get up to pick up my laptop and carry it to another room, and I don't want you to go on a journey through my entire house to see everything in my house while I make this movement? What you can do is you can hit stop video and look, my name is there, but you can't see me, right? And if you want to start again, you simply hit start video and it'll turn on. Now, if you are using the mute and video buttons and you get some weird pop-up menus that says Zoom needs access to your camera or to your audios to work, make sure to always hit OK and make sure to set those permissions on your device, on your computer, so Zoom can interact with your web camera and can interact with the audio. Now, I spent a lot of time, the very first thing, on these two things because they're going to be the most very, very, very important for your participation in the workshops and for your participation in the wider meeting. We want to make sure you know how to mute and unmute and how you can turn your camera and turn it off as needed. Now, the day of the meeting, though, one of the first things you're going to have to do is you're going to click to log yourself into the meeting. The meetings will be opened 30 minutes ahead of time so that people who are reviewing the registrar to see who is signed in and making sure everyone is signed in the meeting who should be in the meeting wants to start going through the list, and they're going to need time to do that. There's going to be hundreds of people participating, so it takes time to go through the names. You want to make sure that your name on your device is correct. Sometimes you'll click on a Zoom meeting or click on a link, and you won't have your name, like here, it says Mark STUTZEL. You might have the name of whatever device you're using. All of a sudden you're known as Galaxy or iPhone or iPad. Or if you had fun the night before in a Zoom meeting with friends, you might have whatever silly name you had the night before, a nickname or anything like that. What you're going to want to do is you want to make sure to put your real name, the name you registered with the assembly with. And so I want to show you how to do that. And there's a couple ways you can do that. How I usually do it is that I would click on participants. It'll give a list of everybody who's in the meeting. And then I like to highlight it. You'll see a couple buttons say mute. Since it's a meeting of one, I'm the host of the meeting, me and Jesus. And so I'm allowed to mute myself if I wanted to. But then you're going to click on the more, or it could be 3 dots, ... That's just a reminder, a sign that there's more to come if you click here. So you're going to click there and it's going to say I can do a couple things. One, I can add a profile picture. Don't need to do that right now. Or I can rename. And this is key. So you'll click on rename and it'll pop up, enter a new name here. So I'm going to, your friendly neighborhood Lutheran pastor. Cool. Click rename. And then all of a sudden in the participants, I have been renamed. And down here too, I have also been renamed. So you're going to make sure that the name you registered with for the assembly is there. You will not be able to participate or really be active in the meeting unless your name is recognizable by the people who are managing the registrar. Right? So you want to make sure your names are there. Another thing that could be very helpful while you rename is also to add your pronouns. Take ownership over who you are and what you want to be known as. And the community around you will respect you and also will refute if in a conversation they need to refer to you, they'll refer to you by the pronouns that you have given. So one way you can do that is at the end of your name, add your pronouns. So mine is he, him, his. I might have that backwards, but those are my pronouns. So you click rename, and as you'll notice, it shows up there, he, him, his. So if you see someone in the meeting and you're having a conversation, maybe during while directing to the chair, and you want to bring in something that someone else said, you can know that you are using the correct pronouns when you're engaging with them. So, friendly neighborhood Lutheran pastor, he, him, his. Another thing that will be important for you to utilize is try to find the reaction button. Now, the reaction button is a lot of fun. You click on reactions, and it gives you a list of little things that you can do. And these are things that will pop up on the screen or next to your name in the participant window. First off, you see, if you want to cheer, right? It's just you're cheering somebody or cheering yourself. You can also, and then you notice it popped up on the window to get her off. It'll go away a little bit and a little bit. Give yourself a thumbs up. Give someone a thumbs up. Spread Jesus' love everywhere. Laugh because something is going to go wrong during the Synod Assembly, and good chance I will embarrass myself somehow. And if I do, just please laugh along with me. A surprise face is another reaction, or you want to celebrate because it's awesome to be the church, and we get to be the church together, and that is something that we should celebrate all the time. There's another one here called raise hand. Raise hand will then alert, could alert the people you're in a meeting with that you have something that you would like to say, or that you would like to add something to the meeting, or you're just raising your hand during a vote process, etc. So raise your hand is probably the most important reaction for you to know that you'll have. There are other reactions available depending on your copy of Zoom software. There is yes, there is no, there is okay. And then there's also different other reactions that can pop up during the meeting, such as a poll. All of a sudden, on the image, a screen will on the screen, something will pop up saying, "Hey, here's yes." Gives you a poll, something to share or something to vote on. Voting during the Synod Assembly is going to happen a variety of ways. It'll be on polls during Zoom meetings. It'll be using the reaction buttons, maybe, or it'll be Google Forms. So you're going to have to familiar yourself with the Zoom software to know how to vote and participate in the Synod Assembly. It's going to be a little different, but it's going to be accessible and something that we get to do together. And then at the end of the meeting, if you need to leave the meeting early, which heaven forbid, I hope you don't have to, but if you have to, we'll have a red button here. It usually says leave, unless you're the host of the meeting, and I'm the host of this one. So it says end. You click on that, and usually another confirmation window will ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to leave the meeting? Or if you're the host, do you want to end the meeting for everybody? Click leave meeting, and then you can step out and at the end of the meeting. So I know it's a lot of information to do, a lot of information I went through. I'm going to invite you as you can to play around with Zoom in your meeting of one. Make sure you know where the mute and unmute button is. Make sure where the stop video and start video button is. Make sure you know how to rename yourself and how to add your own pronouns to it. Also, make sure you click on participants so you can see who else is participating. And then some of the other features that are here you will probably not need is share screen or record. And there's also a list if you click on the ... more, other information here that could pop up. So have fun exploring Zoom. Go through it. Get your hands dirty with it. And if you need help while playing with it, reach out to your pastor, reach out to a friend, reach out to the people around you, because I bet because of this pandemic, a lot of you have used Zoom a million percent more than you ever thought you would. You've gathered together with friends, you've gathered together as a church, you've gathered together as a congregational meeting or in a committee meeting. And if you haven't personally done it, I bet your neighbor has. So feel free to ask people for help. And on the day of the meeting, if you find me, your friendly neighborhood Lutheran pastor, in the Zoom session on the participant list, and you have a question, send me a private chat message. I am happy to answer your questions and do what I can to make sure that your Synod Assembly experience is as awesome as it can be. Synod Assembly is a great time for us to be the church. It's a great way for us to witness the good news of Jesus Christ for a world that desperately needs us. During this pandemic, we have learned just how much the world needs God, how much God is active in the world even during hard times, and how Jesus leads us and guides us and holds us close so that we can continue to share love always. So let's do that during this Synod Assembly. Let's do that safely over Zoom. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to get into the software a little bit with you. Blessings to you on this day, on this week, and in the months to come.